Winter's coming, and I like to get at least one coat of wax on the truck every year. Not only does it look nice, but the ice and snow just slide right off. I'm also a glutton for punishment, so I'm going to wash it, clay bar it, wash it again, wax it. Then we'll get on to vacuuming the interior, maybe polish some chrome and black trim. See how it goes. She's in pretty good shape. Scratch here. This happened at a gig. Someone walking past. This small scratch was here when I picked her up. 2 rock chips and some kind of rubbing action. I don't even know how the hell that happens. For anyone unfamiliar with clay barring a car, it's legit a piece of clay. And then they sell this fancy lubricant, but you can just use soapy water, like dishwashing soap. Soapy water is just a lubricant. I spray some on the body panel, some on the clay. Then I just slide the clay gently across the panel. You don't need to press it hard. You're not trying to drive it home. You're just trying to pull any little particulates out of the clear coat. If you run your hand across your car and it's rough, the clay bar is for you. I don't have that because I do this every year. At the most, I'll have like tree sap, but you can still see I'm pulling some micro dirt out of there. Here's an example of that tree sap. It's gone. You can even hear that the sound has changed. Maybe you can. I can here. I'm almost done with the clay bar. Just have the door panels and this side bed panel. Then I'll just do a spot check. I've already had 6 of the local yokel neighbors stop by and make jokes about having theirs done next. The first wash was to remove dirt and grime so that when you use the clay bar, you weren't dragging all that stuff across it like a piece of sandpaper. The second wash is to remove all this clay grime that looks like a golem just pissed on your car. By the way, I learned all these tips, tricks, techniques from a guy who worked at a dealership and was the detailer. And for washing, he says he would soak one panel, soap it up, rinse it, move on. I'm no expert, but I did stay at a Comfort Inn once. Second wash is done, so I moved into the driveway. While I let the body panels dry, I'm going to use a microfiber cloth, moist, to clean the inside of the doors. I still like the suicide hinges they put on these pickups. It opens the whole thing up, makes it easy to load, clean. First car I ever drove was a 79 Malibu, and the doors are so heavy that the hinges sagged. You had to lift up as you closed. Before I move on to waxing, I want to see if I can pull out those door scratches with this. I don't think I can. Looks like they're a little too deep in the clear coat and would require wet sanding, which I don't want to do. And since it's not into the paint, I can't justify it. I'll be using this consumer grade random orbit polisher. After running this stuff twice, you can barely see the top of the vertical scratch. Scratch in the middle of the panel, can't see. And this one's gone by about 70%. More info you didn't ask for. It's an overcast day today. It's the best day to wax your auto because your body panels don't get hot. Also, I mask off all the hard plastic because the wax will discolor it. I don't see that happen with the rubber pieces. I'm using this wax because it's what I have, and they have so many different variations. I don't know what I even do, so I just guess. I use the hand applicator because the polisher throws it everywhere. I'm going to start with the roof. Come down to this side, circle around the front. Once I'm done with all the cab, I will circle the bed. By the time I'm done applying, that will be dry and I can buff in the same order. I was quicker than expected, that's what she said. So I'm gonna let this haze up a bit more and waste time washing the wheels. Up here in New England, they use a lot of road salt, like a lot of road salt. So your chrome parts will start pitting and surface rusting. You gotta stay vigilant. And you can see here, I have a blister, so that's unfortunate. Sooner or later, that will flake off and expose rust. And when that happens, I'll get in there with a Dremel and a wire wheel and scuff the shit out of it and just prime it to try to keep it from crawling. She's hazy, so now I'm gonna strap on 2 of these like Edward Bonnet hands and buff it out. You could use the polisher, but it doesn't get into all the nooks and crannies. Almost done with the first round buff. Just have this part left. You can't see what I'm pointing at because I'm wearing this stupid bonnet. It will haze up again, kind of like grout on a tile floor. And then I will go around with this lamb's wool pad on the orbital polisher. 90% of the interior is plastic, so I don't even bother with Armor All anymore. I just use a damp cloth, followed by a dry cloth, then hit it with a shop vac, wash any of the floor mats as necessary. we're on to the final buff. Truck bed looks like crap. That's pollen. Didn't come out with a wash. I'd probably need a pressure washer, and mine shit the bed, so I chucked it. And that's paint transfer from the edge of OSB. You can't see that scratch at all. You can only see the top of this one. Right there. I'll do the black later this week. I need to mow the lawn. Should probably end with some truck info. This is a 2015 F-150 XLT. Chrome package, electronics package, tow package, which I'll probably never use. I bought it brand new in February of 2016 with 15 miles on it. It was actually cheaper to buy a full-size truck, new, with the full warranty than it was to buy a used vehicle. Came with the running boards. I put the screws to them for the spray-in liner and the auto start. They beat me back a little on the trade-in. Still a good deal. I was in the market for the EcoBoost V6, but I couldn't find any. So this is a V8, which is okay because I drive locally for the most part. And as of September 2018, she only has 13,000 miles on her.